What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action. Spawning in the left-hand corner of the map in the blue color, playing as Set. He's from the DoD clan. His name is Brickhead. On the right-hand side of the map in the red color, playing as Loki. He's from the UCA clan. His name is Matreiuss. It is the RTS-Sanctuary Christmas Tournament, fourth place match, and it's currently 3-3 in this best of 7 series. The winner of this game takes home the crown of third place. And essentially, if Matreiuss can take it, then he stops Brickhead, or DoD, I should rather say. He stops DoD from taking first, second, and third place in this tournament. If Brickhead can take home the win, then they claim all 3 of those spots. The map is Tundra, and we see a god change here from Brickhead. Not happy playing Thor against Loki. Lost the game in that last match there. Loki versus Thor was not very good from Brickhead's behalf. So he's switching things up, trying to counter God a little bit, taking that set. Set is awfully strong in this game, in this balance patch, because of how aggressive he can be in the early stages of the game. And it's one of those things which I haven't really harped on a lot about, but there seems to be, from watching all of these games, this new age style of play where we all try and play a little bit cautious, a little bit defensive, and allow ourselves to get into the game a little bit slower, and everything happens a little bit slower, like things like grabbing that early second town center slows down the game, or fast heroics, or fast mythics, or semi-fast mythics, or anything like that, as opposed to that super aggressive early aggro play, which is kind of what Joe did a little bit of in his play. He's been a little bit aggressive with Isis, which was why he was coming away with so many wins, in my opinion. I feel like aggressive play in this game is the way to go, and this defensive play seems to be, maybe people have been falling back onto that as a crutch instead of trying to play a little bit differently. We have seen, if we jump over to Brickhead's perspective, he did something a little bit weird there, sending 4 villagers over to the gold super early before taking them off and moving them over to this food here. Perhaps he spotted this location. No, he did not spot the location here, but he did spot... Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that go was there with that. Not 100% sure. That doesn't make sense what I just said then. But that's okay. Taking the villagers off gold, moving them forward, shaking his build order up. Maybe he wants to go to the classical age super fast, chuck 1 more villager onto gold, get the temple up. The rest of the villagers go into food. You advance super fast and put on that priest aggression. Matreiuss, on the other hand, has scouted out the Pharaoh, so he's going to know what's going on in the base. He's going to see all these villagers on the food, and he's going to see the temple go up at some point, I guess. We have got that fourth house going up there, and yes, with the Pharaoh empowering the temple as well, that surely gives away what Brickhead wants to do here. Matreiuss needs to recognize this and shake his own build order up himself. He's got a lot of food in the bank. He's getting his own temple up. That whole sucks on 2 HP. However, he can get this temple up, and if he goes 4-seti and he goes early Ulfsark, this is something that I've been discovering recently with Norse. They actually can really destroy early aggression if they can pump out their own Ulfsark from their hometown center. You cut villages, you build a couple of Ulfsark, and you can shut down that early pressure, especially with a couple of villages to kill off those animals as well. It's really micro intensive. However, if you can pull it off, you do come out super far ahead. So we'll see if he does do that, or if he just goes straight for those slow Herser. We'll see what happens there. He has got that final dwarf coming out. Temple is up, and he's going to be clicking that 4-seti, going a little bit late there, 3:45, as opposed to Brickhead, who's a little bit earlier. It looks like 3:30 is the advance time there, so he's going to be advancing at 4:30. He's got 6 villagers on gold, no Pharaoh, no priest coming out of that temple just yet, so maybe Brickhead could be faking this early aggression, going for a very fast second town center. If you grab this town center, it does claim this gold mine. These Auroch are kind of close there, but they're not going to be able to be hunted too easily, especially against any aggression. We do see the hyena moving in there, seeing what he can do. And villagers already back into the base. They're on the goat. Looks like Matreiuss is just super worried at this point in the game. He's chucking up walls around the tower here, and he should be having some of those Hersers on the auto queue. There we go. More Herser coming out at this point. Jumping back over to Brickhead's perspective, we'll see what he can do here. We do see that the Classical Age has come out there. A couple of these units are moving forward. No movement over to a gold mine just yet. We are seeing the monument to the villagers going up. No armory just yet either. So I'm not 100% sure what we're seeing here. We do see that the vision does get cast, potentially looking to shifting sands some of these infantry units, which could be very, very cute, but they're a little bit spread out there. So that's going to be totally fine. And no shifting sands get cast at all. We do see what's, I guess all that Brickhead did there was see what was going on. He sees the temple, he sees the houses, he sees the map layout here, and he's going for his own second town center. Okay. That's a little bit of the standard set play there. Grabbing the early second town center, fast advance time. Generally, they put in a little bit of pressure behind this or in front of this. This is kind of the backup. But we do see that Matreiuss knows that the town center is going up there. So if I'm Matreiuss here, I'm thinking, all right, I can just go straight Herser and raiding cavalry and then potentially hit the timing window 10 minutes when gold mine expires, run around the town center, hit the gold mine. Maybe potentially a winning strategy there. So we'll see what happens there. Brickhead, on the other hand, has just got his temple up and he's chucking down a barracks and an armory. So he's going to be able to produce some of those slingers, but slingers really don't do anything against this army, this type of Norse army, Loki army that is. High set coming in there, deleting that granary, losing the high set. That's a couple of favor there for Brickhead. He's going to be happy about that. Sorry, Matreiuss. I get confused because Matreiuss is not the Norse player normally. Normally Brickhead's the Norse player, but he's getting a little bit confused there. Going to be running around with these units at this point, looking for something to take out. Needs to scout a little bit. We do see Blue Crystal Shard here, so hopefully Matreiuss spots that one and grabs that relic, because that's essentially an economic upgrade worth of bonuses there. For some reason, the Ox card got sent out of the way there, so that's not what you want to be doing with the Ox cart there. Maybe moving that forward onto... No, that was just a misclick, unfortunately. There is a way to deal with that, though. You can... pretty sure you can only have easy military drag or something. So if you drag over the units, you don't select ox carts or villagers if there's a military unit you're selecting. And we do see the raiding cavalry is just going to be spotting out some of these hunt locations here. But with the Auroch here, it's totally fine for Matreiuss. Matreiuss sitting at 49 population to Brickhead's 47 population, so he's not as far ahead as you might think, and he looks like he's going for his own second town center. I hate this. I think this is potentially the wrong way to be playing this map and this matchup. Going for this fast second town center, or sort of fast second town center, means that your military advantage you had is nullified. Now your opponent not only has the economic advantage because he got the early second town center, but he's going to be able to catch up on the military as well, and then by the same token stay ahead on the tech. So by every metric, essentially grabbing this late town center is not the correct way to play. That's my opinion. We'll see if it comes out in his favor or not, though. Do see a little bit of miss ox cart management. One of the really good things about Norse is you can move your storehouse right next to your villages, and if you stay on top of that, your economy does boom faster, and you do have more resources to deal with there. We are seeing houses going up at this point. A little bit of a raid there, killing off that gazelle. Not going to be able to hunt from that. If you kill off a gazelle, then essentially they can't hunt for it. You have to delete the set animal in order to be able to gather from it. Even if you shoot it yourself with your villagers and kill it with arrows, it actually does die without any food. So you have to delete it to get the food out of it. We do see more longhouses coming up for Matreiuss at this point. He's sitting at 58 population to Brickhead 60 population. So the population's still quite close. Assuming Matreiuss is going to be... Oh no, he's not spamming gold villages. I would have assumed you just spam onto gold here and then spam onto food as well. We do see a little bit of the Gazelle of set scouting out the town center here, just making sure that Brickhead Matreiuss does not grab that third location there. And we are seeing if we can move in here. This is actually quite nice. You see the barracks here and you see where he's sending units. If you can locate yourself in the middle here and pick off a couple of stragglers, that's always good. However, looks like the Hursa is slowing down the units here. You don't want to do this. If you're running through tower fire, you need to split these units up. Took a little bit too much damage there. We are seeing these villagers moving away from that location over to the elk in this corner here. Axemen going to be coming over and trying to cut these guys off. And they do need to get out of there with that Wadget doing a little bit of poke damage there, but just chuck down the healing spring and you should be totally fine there. I guess if we jump back over to Brickhead's perspective here, we'll be going through Nephthys. Nephthys doesn't give you as much advantage as you would think, simply because you have to deal with those Hall of Thane's Hursa. However, it looks like the Axemen have forced so many raiding cavalry from Matreiuss that it may actually be a good thing to be doing there. So Brickhead's probably going to be able to chuck up his Migdol stronghold, start producing some of those chariot archers, and transition into a more spearman-based army because he doesn't have to deal with so many Hursa. We'll see what happens there, but he definitely needs to be getting out priests and funeral rites. Matreiuss, on the other hand, needs to be grabbing his own heroic age. This is part of the reason why advancing to grabbing that early or that late second town center is kind of bad because it slows down your heroic age, which is the strongest part about Norse. The early heroic age, so difficult to deal with. It can be all in-ish, but I feel like you can always do enough damage that it makes it worth it. But we do see Migdol Stronghold going up, so this location here is completely fortified now. Behind the town center and the Migdol Stronghold, this gold mine is completely skewed. I would like to see a little bit of a wall over here, and we'll be totally fine. We are seeing Brickheads moving in, trying to pick off this barracks here, but there are a few too many units here from the blue player Brickhead to deal with that. We are seeing more walls going up. Crocodiles are set, do get picked off. And Matreiuss should be able to control the rest of the gold on this map. Potentially this gold mine's a bit difficult. We are seeing some raiding cavalry moving in here. Going to be able to pick off one of these axemen, but should retreat after he gets that kill. Again, still not using that healing spring. Not 100% sure what is going on there, but controlling this town center is a great idea. We do see that the Gazelle set is still over here. I would probably set this guy on patrol a little bit here, just so you can run him back and forth and maybe see what you can do there. We are seeing the chariot archers going to be looking for some raids here. That's one of the really good things about the heroic age Egyptians. With those chariot archers, they got some speed with their raids. They can move forward, but raiding cavalry do shut them down completely if they get caught out of position, and it does look like Matreiuss has spotted them already, so he's going to be moving in here to stop that, but not actually seeing it well enough. Maybe we're going to be moving over here and picking off any villages or anything that's coming up in this location. We have to remember though, Brickhead does have access to shifting sands. We are seeing a marker going up here, so this could spell early tornado here from Brickhead. Early tornado, shifting sands onto a town center, grab it, and you're going to be totally fine. You can trade that gold. He's got 2,000 gold in the bank. This is why those early second town centers, if you're trying to go back and forth here and grab that later town center, your opponent's economy is just going to be so strong. As we see, Horus is coming through, and Matreiuss is not even clicked into the heroic age. It just multiplies. It goes so crazy out of proportion there. So Matreiuss has got a huge mission in front of him. He needs to get his tech together. He needs to get to the heroic age and start getting those battle boar out, because he's going to have to deal with basically tornado killing off his entire army or his entire base even, or like a bunch of villages. He's got so many options there. We do see that raiding cavalry have got those medium raiders at this point coming through, so they're going to be able to do a little bit, but I feel like even breaking down this wall is just not doing anything. Even if you do kill it, I mean, it does give you that location to run through and maybe start picking off units here, but it's just not going to do all too much. But we do see that the walls are up for Matreiuss now all across the map here, so that leaves these chariot archers very little to deal with. They have to run through this location here, and there's not really a lot there, so that's going to be totally fine for him. We do see that Bragi is coming through, but he's going to hit that about the same time as Horus comes through. So Bragi comes through, and then if he uses his flaming weapons, he can just use he can actually just use tornado on that and force the units to run away. So it's kind of a perfect counter to that flaming weapons. So we'll see if that does actually happen or what happens there. We are seeing some villagers move forward, potentially wanting to grab this Auroch, but we are going to be moving forward. We are seeing Migdol Stronghold moving forward here. Going to be trying to control this side of the map and seeing what he can do there. Nice little raid here on these villagers from this raiding cavalry. Going to be picking off a bunch of these units. Should definitely think about trying to kill that Pharaoh. Pharaohs are such a strong unit, but we do see the Migdol Stronghold is going up, and Horus has been picked up there. Matreiuss hitting his own heroic age there. A little bit behind there, but the rest of these units going to be coming in at this point, trying to be picking off all the raiding cavalries, but they're going to be ignoring the military units, trying to pick off as many villagers as he possibly can, trying to get the economy advantage back into his own court. Matreiuss looks like he may be thinking about trying to get to that mythic age himself, but still spending all of his resources at this point. We do see some of these units trying to push in here, but the battle ball going to be able to send those guys away. And the Migdol Stronghold has gotten up, and it's going to be able to control this location here. A second Migdol Stronghold going up as well, so that's going to be even more difficult for the Flaming Weapons to deal with at that point. Matreiuss is sitting at 125 population to Brickhead's at 130 population, so still very, very even. We have seen fortified town centers has come through for Brickhead as well, and grabbing that heavy chariots in order to make those chariots even stronger. But where is the army at this point? He's got some idle villagers here, and it's not going too well. We are seeing a bit of a side build going on here, trying to control this settlement. But once that Horus tornado comes down, it's going to be super difficult for Matreiuss to deal with. So we're going to have to see where does he go with this Flaming Weapons. We are seeing a bunch of battle ball are out, but he doesn't have that much military population at this point. He does have a couple of idle military. He's going to have to move those guys over here at some point in order to get them into that army. But battle balls are out. There are actually no priests in the army of Brickhead, so Matreiuss can really do some damage in this. We do see that tornado is getting cast, and that's going to be able to kill this town center easily and potentially even more. Picking off houses is huge as well, because that means that the myth unit spawns from the Herso don't need to do anything. We do see that Ancestors is cast here as well to combat this, and if we can just focus these chariot archers onto the Herso, that's going to be huge. Town center does fall again, and we are seeing the Pharaoh has moved in here. He's going to be doing a bunch of damage to those battle ball. We see more units moving in at this point. Matreiuss does not have that much to deal with this, but the Flaming Weapons is huge, is doing so much damage. We do see champion chariots here. Those are going to do so much damage. We do see a Valkyrie spawn there. Nice Valkyrie spawn, but no battle ball spawn. We do see the Herso are moving in here at this point, and that third town center has been grabbed by Matreiuss, so he is still very well in this game. These Herso are doing a significant amount of damage at this point. However, there's no army left for Matreiuss at this point. He is sitting at 96 population. He does have quite a few favor left in the bank, but with no temple, he does need to start producing those. I would really prefer to see him building some of those Huskarls. They're super strong, forces out Axemen. Then you can go Huskar and raiding cavalry in order to deal with that kind of army. Very, very strong. However, that's not happening at this point, and we are going to have to see Matreiuss retreating here. And we have seen the raiding cavalry, sorry, the champion chariots going to be moving in here, going to be attempting to pick off something. We do see that a bunch of these Olsark are going to try and get up this town center. However, the champion chariots are going to be more than enough to deal with this. They do have some pierce armor there, and there are a couple of other units here, but the villagers going to be moving in, going to be enough to stop this location from happening, and all these champion chariots are going to have to retreat at this point. So Matreiuss has got quite a large hill to climb here. He does have a few great Jarls, which are incredibly strong, and he is going to be sending some of these heavy raiders over to this location in order to stop this. Champion chariots are going to be enough to pick off all of these Ulfsark, but are they going to be enough to pick off these raiding cavalry? There is a Wadjet here, so he can do quite a bit of damage, but no units pumping out of this location at this point. He's got so much wood in the bank, and he's just refusing to build those Huskars against such a huge champion chariot army. Huskars are such strong units, and we do see that the raiders are going to be enough here to pick this location off, but with more champion chariots coming over here, Brickhead really wants this town center. He does have the option, and he has done it already, to build up a wall here, get this catapult in, and he's going to be able to pick off this town center, no problem. Already has a watchtower around it, so there's no way for Matreiuss to stop that. So really what Matreiuss has to do here is stop this town center from going up, and then getting it for himself. Trade this one over here, and then regroup, get his own Mythic Age happening. If you can get the Mythic Age happening, that'll be huge. Definitely needs to get some of these Jarls to come over here and pick off this Wadjet, doing way too much damage to this. However, the villagers are getting picked off. The army of of Brickhead is starting to dwindle. These Jarls are doing absolute work. Still, wouldn't mind seeing something more coming out of here. Got a couple of these idle idle cavalry units here. Definitely need to get those guys to get over to this location here. Matreiuss could convert these guys into Ulfsark in order to deal with this town center and get it up himself. But he is going to be losing this fortified town center. Could move back and grab this hometown center instead, but still idle military sitting here. Finally picking up on that. Definitely can just hit shift and move all of these units over here if you so choose. Royal Elephant are starting to pump out now for Brickhead. Sorry, yes, for Brickhead now, which are incredibly strong units. They take so much beating there from units there. Another house does get picked off there, so Matreiuss is still struggling for that population. Definitely needs to get another town center up. Could simply get one unit, just one unit to be building this up. That's all you really need. We do see that the fortified town center is finally about to go down there after just one catapult picking it off there. No units repairing that at this point. We do see more laborers moving in here, trying to get this town center up, and we see, oh, nice shifting sands. They're going to be able to get this town center up at this point. No way to stop that with that many villages. There's so many units here. We see Battleball are starting to come out though for Matreiuss, so Matreiuss should be able to move in here and stop this. But with the town center going up so fast with that many villages, and also a nice gold mine he can move to at this point, so that's going to be totally fine there for Brickhead. Brickhead is sitting at 133 population, now going to be starting to produce some of those mercenary in order to move in and pick off these units of Matreiuss. But no priests at this point. Battleball super strong against a no priest army, especially with funeral rites. So we'll see if he can hold on here and start pushing back. He does lose this town center as well, only sitting at one town center to 3 town centers. So Brickhead just needs to keep putting the pressure on, and Matreiuss decides he cannot hold on in this game anymore. Sitting at 104 of that 115 population is too much to ask, and he's going to be tapping out. DoD claims the 3rd spot in the RTS-Sanctuary Christmas Tournament, winning 4 games to 3. Super well played there by Brickhead. I do love the counter god pick up by Matreiuss from the last game, going Loki into Thor, but these guys play on the blind pick, so you can't actually see which god each other picks. So Brickhead then counter picks the counter pick with Set. I would have loved to see, imagine if Matreiuss had just metagamed Brickhead there and been like, all right, I'm going to go back to Poseidon. He's going to switch to Set, and I'm comfortable Poseidon versus Set. However, he does not go for that, and instead picks his Loki, which did put up, I do like the showing he put up. I felt like he did pick the wrong strategy going for the 2nd town center early instead of the semi-fast heroic age. Even semi-fast mythic age would have been a better choice in my opinion. Going for some sort of Fimble Winter flaming weapons play would have been awesome to see, but Brickhead does play this game really solid with his early 2nd town center. Didn't put any of that early aggression on, which I do love from Set, but that's totally fine. Grabbing the 2nd town center and managed to hold on this game. Really well played. If you enjoyed this game, please rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out. My name's Boit, and I will see you guys next time.